Hey guys, alright, so we're going to do something with some 1-point perspective today. We are going to make a word or your name or something like that, and we're going to use bubble letters, and we are going to do some fun effects to make it look like it's popping out at us using 1-point perspective. That means we have 1 point and all of our letters or designs all come back to meet at that 1 point. So first what you're going to do is pick your word. It can be an IB word, it could be a positive or encouraging word, it could be your name. So I'm going to do my name just because it's an easy way to start. So you get to pick your word. I would suggest, unless your name has like 8 letters, that's fine. But I'd suggest a word that's about 8 letters or less because you're going to get a lot of busy lines going on here. So if you have a really long word, it's going to be a little bit of a challenge. Anyways, you want your letters to be maybe 2 inches tall. You have a ruler. You can use your ruler if you would like to. It will make your letters a little bit cleaner. You can even lightly sketch your letters and then come back and clean it up with a ruler. So I am going to start with my name, and it does not have to be in a straight line at all, but they do have to be bubble letters because that is what's going to make this work the best. So I'm going to draw, I hope you guys can see this, I'm going to draw my name in bubble letters. And like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect, but it has to be pretty good. If you need that ruler, clean it up with that. So I have an A, I have my S, and I like these bubble letters that have more of the sharp edges on them rather than curved edges for this project. I just find it looks a little cooler because we're working on that perspective thing. And yes, my letters can twist and turn if I want. So I have A, S, H. See, now I have a skinny one and a wide one. I probably should measure a little better and use a ruler. It'll just look a lot neater. So A-S-H-L-E, let's hope I know how to spell my name. And then a Y. And if you notice, all my letters, again, they're not perfect, but they're about the same width for each letter. I don't have a really skinny letter and a really wide letter. They're all about the same width. Let's see. I'm going to get that Y, and then I'm going to make that really big. Again, I should measure with my ruler. All right, so I've got my name written out there. Now, once I have my name, I'm going to pick where I want my 1 point to be. Remember, we're doing 1-point perspective. So if I pick a point down here, my letters are all going to come out going up. If I pick a point here, my letters will all come towards me coming down. If I pick a point over here, they'll all shoot out the side. So you pick where you want that 1 point. Just for fun, I'm going to pick right here. Okay? So I put 1 point. Remember, 1-point perspective. So I only need 1 point. That means that you do need your ruler now. Every single time I draw a line, one end of my ruler better be at that point. The other end is going to touch some point on one of these letters. So if my lines are not going back to that point, it's going to get really messy really quick, and that is not the point of this. That was funny. Not the point. Okay, so I have my ruler and I have my point. Now, I want to start at the letter closest to the point. Closest to the point. It's actually probably my H, okay? Because that's a shorter distance there than my A. So we're going to actually start with the H. We want to be the closest so that we can not overlap improperly. So I have the point, and I have the point of my H, and I'm going to draw a line. Again, you might want to draw light to start just so that you guys can erase easier. And then I'm going to go to my next point. Notice I'm always at this point. Now, if I just spin my ruler every time, it does come off of that point. So I want to always double check that I go back and both ends meet up. Okay? So it does take a little time, and it takes a lot of brain power. So this point needs to go back somehow to that guy. So we got to come back over here, make sure we're on the dot, and once I hit my H, I stop. So now we're getting some dimension going. So this point is going to come back as well. You can't leave out the bottom of the H. So I'm connected here and I'm connected here, but I will hit my H right there and I need to stop, okay? And I'm not going to continue it here because this side is actually in front of the other side. So I want to make sure that connects. So this whole side would show, and this is going back kind of behind it. I hope that makes sense. So now I have my H. Oh, what do I think? My A is probably closer than my S, yeah? So I'm going to, again, line up to that dot, always back to that dot. We did a similar lesson in 4th grade, and they just used shapes instead of bubble letters for their name. They just used shapes for their geometry unit. And it was a challenge to remember to always go back to that one point. So constantly double check. See right here, if I just spun the end, I'm totally off the point and my line would end up way out here in the middle of nowhere. So you have to keep checking. And now when I, whoops, I'm a little off. Now when I go again, I'm going to hit my A, so I stop. Okay? This line might need to go back. You always double check and say, can it work or can it not? Yep, that can work. Do a little bit of a line there. But like this point won't work because the entire line will be hidden by the A or by this shadow here or by this whole side here. So now we've got our A. Now our S has a curve, right? So everyone thinks, how do you get the curve? There's no point to go back to. Like there's a point here. All right, we'll do that. We've got the point there. This point is going to go behind the whole thing, so we don't need to do that. But this side, we're just going to come all the way out to the very far edge. See, I'm off my point, so I have to pivot that ruler and line it back up again. It's like twist, twist, twist. Okay, and so now I go from that very farthest edge. Ooh, I think I can make that go all the way. Well, that's kind of cool. All right, so also these points are all still going to have to go back, right? So let's line it up. Sometimes, like here, that's not that fun because this line goes exactly right on it. So it's not really gonna be as cool as I hoped right there. Let's see, we've got to get this point back to the line. So you get the idea. You're just gonna keep going, going, going. And because I think that's kind of boring, see how that line just goes straight? I don't find that very fun. So I'm actually going to erase, again, why you want to not draw so dark. I'm going to erase that line. I still want that to hit the point, but I think I want my S to end up out here a little more so that I can have this much more fun line out here. Get a little more dimension on that S. See? Now my S looks a little more fun, I think. Okay, so you see how that goes. That I could get the same thing going there, but okay. I'm going to draw all these lines and let you just watch it super fast. So remember, always go back to that point. So now we're back. I have my name and it's all shooting out of that one point, but I have all this empty space up here. I feel like I have too much negative space. You could put your letters farther out and that would give you longer lines and you'd fill it all up with just your name. I purposefully left some space to show you what happens if you do have all this negative space. So if I have all this negative space, I could fill it up with some shapes. you guys are going to do this. You're going to fill up your page. It doesn't have to be totally full. It doesn't have to be every single space, but you could tell that I had pretty much an even amount of negative space as I did picture with my name, and that's just kind of boring. You always want to have more of the picture than the negative space, right? So with these shapes, I again need to connect all back to that point. Don't find yourself some random point somewhere else, okay? We're doing 1 point perspective. So it all comes back to that 1 point. All right, you guys. So I'm going to continue drawing all of this, and I'll do it super fast so you guys can get a move on. When you color it, I would love for you to either use different colors or think about shades of colors. You can use blue or red or whatever, pick a color, and then color harder and color lighter all on one letter so that you can get different shades of that color. It's light red or dark red or a medium red. You can even play with the colors being darker the closer they are to you, and fading lighter the closer they get to the point, or the opposite. And whatever you pick, though, I would suggest you do that for everything. So, you know, if you're going to pick individual colors, like make your A red, maybe a dark red here and lighter reds going back, and then a dark blue here and lighter blues going back, just so you have some continuity in it, because you don't want to confuse your audience and think, what is going on? There's so many random colors and none of it goes together and makes sense. So if you're going to do all dark letters, then do all dark letters. Don't just do a dark letter and then a light letter with dark background and skip around like that. It gets too confusing. That's pretty good. All right, so you see how I just filled up more of my page. All right, I'm going to speed it up and y'all have some fun, and can't wait to see what you make. Have a good time. I'm going to fix my H too.